According to the American Cancer Society, 1 out of 8 deaths is attributed to cancer. Cancer also is accounted for more deaths than malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV combined. However, there is another disease that affects more people than cancer. This disease comes in many different forms, such as stealing, lying, hatred, and the list goes on. This disease is sin. And we know that sin is affected everything. It affects everyone. Romans 3:23 states that for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But the news gets worse in Romans 6:23 when it states, for the wages of sin is death. And it's talking not just about a physical death, but a spiritual death. A spiritual death in a Christless eternity in a place called hell. Now there is good news. There is a cure. One of the most famous Bible verses, John 3:16, states, for those who believe in Jesus Christ, they shall not perish but have eternal life. See, the bad news is that there are people in our world today that do not have access to the gospel. That there is no one there that is able to explain to them their problem and their cure. These people are known as the unreached. Now, through my research and my study, I'd like to tell you a little bit about them and hopefully persuade you to get involved in helping to reach them. You see, there's a need for Christians to spread the gospel worldwide, but it's especially important to spread the gospel to the unreached people who don't have it yet. So I want to tell you really in 4 different ways. I want to give you a definition of who they are. I want to share with you the local need here in the U.S. as well as the global need. And I want to give you 4 actions that you can take to help in reaching the unreached people. So who are they? What qualifies somebody as an unreached person? Well, according to the Global Frontier Missions, they give a definition that when broken down in 2 sections really gives a good explanation. The first part states that they are an identified people group with a distinct culture, a distinct language, or a social class. Now, everybody falls into that category. That simply says that they are people like you and me. What distinction they have between you and I is the second part. They lack a Christian community that is able to evangelize the rest of the group without help from the outside. There's not enough people in that special group to evangelize them. They need help. Now you may be wondering, how far do we have to go to see these people, and where are they? Well, you don't have to go very far because they're here in the United States. The local need is found in Operation World. They state that we have just over 317 million people in the United States. We're the 3rd largest country behind India and China. Now when we put those millions of people into people groups, we have 364 people groups in the United States. So how many are unreached? 16%. Roughly 60 out of 364 people are unreached here in the United States. But it gets worse when we look globally. According to the Joshua Project, there are 6.75 billion people in the world. There are 16,595 people groups. The unreached account for 2.8 billion people, or 6,872 people groups. That's 41.5% of the world population is considered unreached. So what can we do? 1, learn. Learn about them, where they come from, who they are. Then share them with other people. The more the people know, the better. Then pray for them. It's one of the greatest tools that we have. Pray for open doors for people to go. And lastly, consider going yourself, whether short-term or long-term. So there's practical actions that we can take by sharing, by learning, by praying, and considering going. So I hope these last couple of minutes have opened your eyes and your hearts to who they are, to the need here in the United States as well as the world, and to the practicality of how you can help. So remember, there's a great need in the world today. They need to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. They need to hear of the cure. And we have it, and we're able to share that. So I encourage you to go, to share, and to reach.